Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Will MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he shows up, great. If he doesn't, then we'll wait on for Monday. So, with that said, we're just gonna dive right on in. We're not gonna waste any more time. It is SmackDown Live first, then AEW Rampage. I know you guys were waiting for a big three. I'm not gonna do it this week. I'm gonna save it for next week. So just to give you guys the heads up, I'm not doing it tonight. Um, so we're just gonna start with SmackDown Live, and then we'll go from there. So SmackDown Live tonight from the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. The one of the homes of the Thunderdome that they had during the COVID era. As a matter of fact, Michael Cole even went out to say that it was the original home of the Thunderdome. Which, yes, it was. There was actually two or three different variations of the Thunderdome, if you guys remember. There was that one. There was Tropicana Field that was in Tampa, and then they used the Sun Dome. If you remember that day, the 1995 Royal Rumble, that was a Thunderdome affiliate before they finally went back on the road for the fans. So, with that said, they started off with a promo by Pat McAfee. Then from there, um, they had the first fight of the evening, Liv Morgan versus Natalia, and that one was a contenders match. Liv Morgan wins the match in 9 minutes and 5 seconds, and then after that, there was an interview in the ring by Kayla Braxton with Liv Morgan. Okay, let's talk everything first. The women's match, not bad, pretty good. 2.25, 2.5. Solid action. There were some iffy moments, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't great, but there were some moments where it looked a little cringy. I'm sorry. I'm going to openly admit it. It wasn't the best match. Liv is getting better in the ring. Natalia is a veteran, well versed, well done. So obviously now Natalia is completely out of the picture. There will be no triple threat now, and that it will be Liv versus Ronda. As a matter of fact, next week there's going to be a face to face with Ronda Rousey and Liv Morgan from Boston, Massachusetts at the TD Garden. So we got that. Now, does the interview itself with Kayla, the way she threw the question to Liv, saying you weren't really that impressive in your win tonight, I'm gonna immediately call it right here. Kayla's going to get attacked by the Liv Morgan fans on Twitter tonight. I'm calling it. I'm saying it right now. She will be attacked. She shot off a shot. Liv played it off, saying, you know what, I'm an underdog. I understand that, and this and that. I'm telling you right now, I know how these fans are geared. These fans are going to open fire on Kayla. And Kayla, be careful, sweetheart. Do not go on Twitter tonight. Do not go on Twitter tomorrow, because the fury and the anger that you might have just started is going to be bad. I'm telling you, you created a firestorm. I know that's probably what WWE wanted you to say, but I'm just giving you the heads up right now, sweetheart. You are probably going to be open fire upon by the Liv Morgan fans, because that question or the way that you asked Liv came off a little insensitive. I'm just saying. And it's not your fault. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're a great interviewer. I'm just stating facts. So, Anthony Florio, come on in. It's yours.
Yeah, I came across that. You mentioned something about that on your Twitter, and I was like, "What's he talking about?" And well, now you just answered my questions. So glad you cleared that up. But I'm actually going to be a little more generous on this one. I'm going to give this about 3 stars for the effort. I would probably call this maybe second best fight of the night here. Natalia is the perfect opponent for Liv Morgan in this spot. She can have a solid match with anyone, and that was the case here. But she is also incredibly knowledgeable and the type of veteran competitor you want a young star working with as she finds her footing in a new role. Morgan is consistently developing, growing, and evolving as a performer, and showings like this will only earn her the trust of management. Whether said trust will be earned quickly enough for those in power to resist the urge to give Ronda Rousey the title back remains to be seen. But Liv Morgan has done everything right early in this women's championship run. And that's really all I can say on that. 3 stars for that. To be honest with you, MF, I didn't really pay much attention to the post match there. The promo, I didn't even notice Kayla saying that, but boy howdy, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, yes, we know how the IWC gets, and Liv Morgan is one of the darlings, if not the darling of the IWC right now. And Kayla Braxton's probably going to be is going to get a lot of heat, and not in a good way. So, as amazing as she is, as we all know, I mean, she's got a following of her own. We all know that, and we're just going to have to keep an eye on her social media and see what happens. So, but I will give this 3 stars. I'll call it sleeper fight of the night. And MF, so much for your theory about Natty being added to this match with this loss. I think it's going to stay Liv and Ronda one-on-one in the SummerSlam.
It looks like it will be Liv and Ronda after all, and it's still going to be a one-on-one match. There's no doubt about that. One other thing that needs to be addressed, and this was something that was brought up last week, and it was brought up over the weekend during an event in Sacramento. There was a moment where Natalia no-sold on Liv, but now it looks like what happened is it wasn't on Liv Morgan. She was frustrated about something else. So we're going to give Natty a pass. We're going to give her a pass on this because, look, maybe something happened during the match, and it looks like it wasn't directed towards Liv Morgan. So I think that's what it was. So maybe it was something that Ronda did. Maybe she wasn't happy with her performance in the match. Maybe there was something that occurred, prior or something like that, and there was some negative heat towards Natalia. Now Liv played it off. She didn't really say anything. She didn't really address anything. She only just said thank you to the great fans of Sacramento. It was fun. So Liv obviously taking the high road, which is the right thing to do. Don't get yourself into any heat or any fire because right now, I don't know if WWE management really is sold on Liv Morgan. Ronda was the one that said, you know what? Liv deserves the moment. So they basically said, all right, let's do it. Let's pull the trigger. Now, all of a sudden, what we've been hearing is Liv is getting bigger pops than ever before, and her merchandise, her Smackdown Liv shirt that's been on that just went up on WWEshop.com is actually a top 10 shirt right now. Top 5 shirt, as a matter of fact, right now. So she is selling really well, not only at the arenas, but also on the internet on WWE Pro Shop or the WWEshop.com right now. So if this keeps going, WWE management is going to be like, you know what? Liv is actually making money for us. this might be an opportunity where Liv could actually get a longer reign. Because remember, the rumor going around was that it was going to be a short-term reign for Liv Morgan. As a matter of fact, we were all fearing that she might actually even drop the belt at SummerSlam. Now it looks like with the way that the fans are rallying behind Liv, with the support, with the merchandise, with everything that's going on from the IWC and everything else, they might be actually saving Liv Morgan and actually might be giving WWE Brass a reason to, you know what? Let's put the belt on Liv for a little while longer. So she might actually go by SummerSlam still the champion going into the fall. So we might actually have a decent title reign for Liv Morgan. And remember, there's still some good challengers that hasn't shown up yet. Bailey, Charlotte Flair, they haven't arrived yet. If they bring them back, maybe we have ourselves a good situation where Liv could have 2-3 months of sustained title reign. That could be even better. So we'll go from there. So nothing more to add. And with that said, the next thing we had on the show, the next thing was, let's see, well, a lot of promo stuff. So the next actual match was Ridge Holland versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wins the match in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Florio, if you want to talk about it, you can. If you don't, then it's fine. But once again, Sheamus was supposed to fight. He ducked out. He let another member of the Fighting Brutes go after him, which was Ridge Holland. You got a feeling now they have to do that match. Or maybe they're waiting for SummerSlam to do McIntyre versus Sheamus. The winner gets the title shot at Clash at the Castle.
That's exactly what they're going to do, MF. I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
Which is fair, and it would be a great match.
It's a SummerSlam worthy match, right?
Yes, I agree with that.
So, I mean, I'll be honest. I have zero tolerance for bait and switches. I mean, you promise us one thing, and then we end up getting another. And there's a lot of things that I get upset about a lot nowadays, and one of those things is false advertising. But that's a story for another day. But for right now, this was repetition, obviously, and it was more of the same here. McIntyre won to set up the inevitable showdown with Sheamus, but this match was rather pedestrian at best. The repetitive nature of all of this overshadows what had been some damn good matches between McIntyre and Sheamus a few weeks back, and during their days on Raw in the Thunderdome, ironically, and that's unfortunate. It really is, and and McIntyre, stole a lot of Sheamus's moves during the match. The 10 beats to the Bowery and the white noise. I'm surprised he didn't use the bro kick instead of the Claymore at the end. But it was pretty much a delicious squash, like you knew it would be. And MF, you're absolutely right. The only way we're gonna get this match with that stipulation, I mean, the most logical place to do it would be in the SummerSlam in 2 weeks. So, and if you do add that, you've got another. Then I think we'll get the Be a Man banger fight that we're used to from these two. So, but we all know when it does go down, you gotta believe Drew McIntyre will go over, and then that'll set him up for his big crowning moment, a la the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith 30 years ago. So that's just how I feel about it. So no rating for the match, because it was if I had to give it a rating, it would be DS for delicious squash.
Okay.
So McIntyre and Sheamus at SummerSlam. You beat me to that. I mean, I already knew that. You already knew that. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
When they officially announce it, yeah, no doubts. All right. So I really got nothing more to add. You pretty much summed that up. Next up, we had was Mac Hatmoss versus Theory. Mac Hatmoss wins the match in 11 minutes and 55 seconds via disqualification. This was actually a solid match. Well, it was a solid match. I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry, I just dropped my cell phone, but thank God it was on the back, not in the front. Um, and yeah, I thought this was a really good one-on-one matchup. It was solid for what it was worth. I enjoyed it. I could easily call it fight of the night. And yes, look, I get it. Theory is more worried about the money in the bank. He's more worried about cashing in on either Roman or Brock after the last man standing fight, more than anything else. So for him, this is nothing. For Madcap Moss, this is a big win for him because now you just beated Mr. Money in the Bank. You just defeated, I guess you could say, one of the top heels, one of the supposed top heels in WWE right now. So that's a big feather in the cap for him. And in a way, you could say SmackDown beats Monday Night Raw, which is also a great feather in the cap, if you know what I mean. So, with that said, it was about a 3.25 star match. I thought it was very well done. I think the way the body of work and the respect that you get from the match, more than anything else, was solid enough. I just feel like Theory is more worried about trying to become the champion. The thing is that I'm afraid he might actually fail if he tries to cash in now, because the fans don't want him to be the champion. A lot of people feel like they think his ego is way too damn big that he actually could fail, and then he might become a big time laughing stock, just like Damian Sandow was, just like well, not well Damian Sandow or even Baron Corbin, that because they got too antsy going after the Money in the Bank with the wrong guys at the time because of the circumstances of them trying to cash in more than anything else. Sandow tried to go after Cena. That was Super Cena. You knew that was probably going to be a failure. Then, of course, with Corbin, me and Michael Bullock were there in Providence when that failure happened. And the thing was, Cena was lurking around the arena. He was still at ringside at the time when he tried to cash in on Jinder Mahal. And we all saw what happened that night. Me and Michael Bullock were there, and we both were like, what the hell? So I'm just saying, there is a very, very, very good chance that, yes, he could do it. He can cash in. But the fear that I had with Liv, that I was afraid that she could fail, I got that same feeling right now for Theory. But the thing is, I'm not fearing him. I would not be afraid or concerned if he fails. Quite frankly, deep down inside and personally, I hope he does cash in and I hope he does fail and does not get the title. So that's my thought on that. Anthony, why don't you give me your quick thought, and then we'll get Michael Bullock in and we'll just catch him up on what he missed. He didn't really miss much, though.
No, he didn't miss much. Like you said, MF, this was a surprisingly good match that highlighted two performers on the verge of stardom. Theory is obvious. He has won Money in the Bank, shared the ring with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Pat McAfee at WrestleMania, and worked alongside Vince McMahon all year. He is the new chosen one and will be in the main event consistently sooner rather than later. Moss, though, has gradually developed into a red-hot babyface who wins crowds over and has them firmly in his corner by the end of the match. His power, intensity, and aggression is exactly what you look for in a top star of the future, and he has yet to disappoint since breaking free from Happy Corbin and embarking on this run, even when WWE Creative did not necessarily have his back. In fact, it could be argued that Moss was more impressive than the guy with the briefcase here. And for those paying attention, that is not particularly surprising. Theory may find success first, But do not be surprised if Moss is the guy with the beefier resume when all is said and done. So, and Paul Heyman, he made a business pitch to both men in backstage moments earlier in the night. And Moss declining the business pitch of Heyman made no sense. That it required him beating the hell out of someone. He was quite literally getting ready to go do just that too. And Cole and McAfee repeatedly in awe of Moss's strength, which helped pique the interest of the viewer, forcing them to sit up and take notice. And Theory dismissing the outcome of the match while addressing the future as if it is predestined is just a great work from a spoiled heel, and the exact sort of thing that will keep fans jeering him well into the future. So that's really all there is to say on this. So if I had to put a rating on this, I would actually give it 3.25 to 3.5, even with the DQ finish, because the match was really good up until the ending. And MF, you said it. I go as far as to call this the sleeper fight of the night. I mean, we didn't really know what to expect from these two, and they actually ended up overshadowing what ended up being the main event tonight. Go figure. So, which is a pleasant surprise. So 3.25, 3.5, even with the finish, because the match was just really good. I don't think we could put an NA on this. So there isn't much more to say. Phenom, Michael Bullock, come on in. Girl MF, going to catch you up right now.
All right, Michael Bullock, we started off with Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Liv Morgan wins the match in 9 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'll give it about maybe 2.5 stars on this one. I mean, a nice win, obviously, for Liv Morgan. And, of course, the big question now is, guys, because we thought maybe this would be a chance for Natalya to work her way into the match at SummerSlam, but I just think she lost the momentum now. And I mean, I don't know, Fletch. I mean, can you still see it happening even after a loss like this?
Me and Anthony addressed it. We said no. We also said that now we firmly believe that it's now truly going to be a one-on-one match between Liv and Ronda.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I mean, I just wanted to know what you guys thought on it.
Yeah. No, we both agreed, and we both felt like, yeah, that basically the triple threat idea for SmackDown is now out the window after Natalya losing the way she did tonight.
Yeah. I mean, she had her chance, and she blew it.
Yeah. So next up we had was Drew McIntyre versus Ridge Holland. Drew McIntyre wins the match in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. We didn't really give a rating. We didn't really talk deep into this, so we're going to bypass that. And you just got into it right in the middle when we were talking about Madcap Moss and Theory. Theory wins. Madcap Moss wins the match by disqualification in 11 minutes and 55 seconds.
3 stars for me. I mean, I would give it 3.25, but because of the DQ, I can only give it 3 stars.
All right. Main event, Angelo Dawkins versus Jimmy Uso. Angelo Dawkins wins the match in 7 minutes. And then we found out who the special guest referee is going to be for the match. It'll be none other than former WWE Intercontinental Champion, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, the founder of Impact Wrestling, or back in the day, TNA Wrestling, WWE Hall of Famer, JEWF, JARRETT, Jeff Jarrett. He is going to be the special guest referee for the Usos versus the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team Championships of the World. I believe this is going to go to Anthony Florio. So, Florio, it is yours. Give me your thoughts on the match. Angelo Dawkins wins the match in 7 minutes. But more importantly, Jeff Jarrett, of all people, special guest referee in the championship match at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. I think that's a perfect fit. Good call.
And what is Nashville, Tennessee? Jeff Jarrett country.
Yes, it is.
Originally from Hendersonville, Tennessee. And I'll have more on him in just a moment. But all right. Disappointing, obviously, considering the talent involved. I mean, going into this, I had this as the fight of the night, but this ended up being the disappointment of the night. I'll give it 2.5 for the effort. But the thing is, the refereeing nonsense was a bit much for a match that only had a few minutes to work with as it was. But it got us to the Jeff Jarrett announcement before concluding the show with a wild brawl, so it can be forgiven for the most part. And like the man or not, props to Sami Zayn, who was phenomenal on commentary and helped create some fun, engaging banter with Pat McAfee, who he plays off of very well. And McAfee even compared the awful officiating of late to the NFL referees, saying this recent stretch might be worse. So that's all there is to say on the match. All right. As for JEFF, JARRETT, Jeff Jarrett. Yes. We know his resume, obviously. MF broke it out. And not only was he the founder of NWA TNA, but also a multi-time NWA TNA Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion in his own right. And I believe he's also an Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer as well. So, all right. The brawl ended the show, but nothing could make up for the uber awesome announcement of Jeff Jarrett's role at SummerSlam in Nashville. It just sounds right. Jarrett and Nashville go hand in hand thanks to growing up in Tennessee and creating Impact Wrestling in that city. His career is so closely tied there, and he has absolutely earned the right to appear on that stage and be part of a match with the very real possibility to be the best of that weekend. And I don't know if he has any guest referee experience. I'm going to look into that. He might have had some guest refereeing experience I haven't really seen anything about him being a guest referee in any of his previous matches. I thought I remembered him being it at one time, but no. But it's great news, and you know he's going to get a hometown pop when he comes out, when he's introduced. I mean, the crowd's going to eat him up, and I mean that in a good way. And but hey, all right, I'll be honest, it wasn't quite the big name that I was expecting. I was expecting a name that was bigger than him. I had thought about possibly Stone Cold or Shawn Michaels. MF threw in the possibility of Triple H, which would have been another great fit. But he's got plenty of guest referee experience as well. I mean, those three names I just mentioned, Stone Cold, HBK, and The Game, all three of them have significant guest refereeing experience. And I thought for sure it was going to be one of them. But hey, Jeff Jarrett, I'm not mad at it. I'll give it a shot. Why not? I mean, let's see what he can do. So I don't know if like I said, I don't know if he has any guest refereeing experience in the past, but I'll give this a chance. Why not? So we'll see what happens. And so that's all there is to say on that. 2.5 stars, disappointing match. Unfortunately, another controversial moment this time. The Profits benefiting from the shoulder off the mat, but then again, Charles Robinson, the senior official of Friday Night SmackDown, took a bump, and obviously he was not in his right mindset at the moment, and that's obviously why he missed the shoulder being up. So I didn't like that, but hey, Jarrett, that's going to be something. So not much more to say. 2.5. Bullet, come on in. Disappointing match considering the talent involved. Unfortunately, we had another referee moment, but hey, Jeff, Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, the guest referee at SummerSlam. Hey, at least it's a big name, right?
Oh, it is a big name. I mean, I actually think it works perfectly. I mean, look, Jeff Jarrett is from Tennessee, and why not let the hometown boy be the one to be the referee for this match? And I'm definitely going to give it a chance. But yeah, as far as this match goes, disappointing to say the very least. I mean, I was really hoping for something really good, but I'm going to give this about 2.5 stars. I mean, I was really hoping that this would be better, but like you said, unfortunately, another controversial finish. But hopefully with Jeff Jarrett as the special guest referee, we don't get any controversy and we get the 5-star match that we really hope for. But we'll wait and see. So 2.5 stars. It's yours, Fletch.
2.5, yeah. No doubt about it. I thought it was a solid main event. And to get Jeff Jarrett in the fold, great news, great announcement. Really nothing more to say there. So we're just gonna move right on along. Overall review, Michael Bullock, you'll lead off.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was an all right show. I mean, I'll give this maybe about a 6. You know what? I'll give it about maybe 5.5 to 6. I mean, but as Anthony Flores said, it's solid, but it was solid but unspectacular. I mean, we did have some moments here, but there are some things that definitely could have been better. But yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. 5.5 to 6 is my rating, so it's yours, Fletch.
I actually have to disagree with you, Michael Bullock. I think this was at least 6.5. This was way better than the dumpster fire that happened last week on Smackdown by light years. Yes, it was more promo heavy than anything else, and I think that's fine for what it's worth. So I'm not gonna go too crazy about it. I think at the end of the day, SmackDown, I thought, really flowed a lot more better than anything else. Obviously, the promo by Pat McAfee was amazing, straight to the point. I love his fire and passion that he does. He's going to be great. He's a great guy on promos. His ring work is really good. So I can't wait to see what he does with Corbin at SummerSlam. Then, of course, I already talked about the Liv Morgan one. I'm not going to rehash that. Then there was a Lacey Evans classic heel promo from her. Poor Aaliyah doesn't get an opportunity to compete in the ring tonight. So Aaliyah, I guess, wins by forfeit? Maybe? I don't know. So we had that. But it's always great to see Aaliyah in the ring. I mean, I think that's the best thing. You know, beautiful eye candy. That's how that played out more than anything else. Then you had a couple of things here and there. So I mean, the even though I know we were disappointed that we didn't get Sheamus and McIntyre, Holland and McIntyre was actually better than expected. So was Theory and Mad Cat. Yes, I know we're a little angry about the DQ finish. I'll get that. Then we had a solid match between Angelo Dawkins and the Uso, one of the Usos. So, I mean, you had that. So, all in all, I mean, wrestling-wise, yeah, there wasn't really that much wrestling. Promo-wise, there was some pretty good stuff that came out tonight. So, I'll give this 6.5. I mean, yes, more promo heavy, but the thing is that not everything has to be like wrestling heavy or promo heavy. You know, as long as you keep the 2 hours flowing and consistent, I thought they did a better job with the flow of the show tonight than they did 1 week ago. 1 week ago, that was just a complete and utter cluster. Tonight, it felt a lot more better. They felt a lot more sharper. Being in Orlando, you could feel that this was a completely different show than it was a week ago. So they did a really good job with this. Anthony, it's yours.
I'm leaning more towards 6, but you can make an argument for 6.5. I mean, you definitely made a lot of great points there, MF. Leaps and bounds better than that horrific show that we saw a week ago, which was the worst SmackDown of 2022 by a country mile. And Bullock summed it up best. He said exactly as I would say it. It was solid, but it was not overly spectacular. Madcap Moss in theory, pleasant surprise, fight of the night, no doubt about it, even with the DQ finish there. Liv Morgan and Natalya, they had a solid match, and which was the second best fight of the night and the sleeper fight of the night. I didn't really know what to expect from those two, but they delivered. There was a small disappointment with the Uso Dawkins match because we know what the Usos and the Street Profits, what they bring, but what definitely made up for it was the announcement of Jeff Jarrett as the referee for their match at SummerSlam, and get him a hometown pop. Nashville is Jarrett country, Hendersonville, right neck and neck. So that's really all there is to say on that. And it was so great to see the Amway Center, because remember that was the arena that originally housed the Thunderdome a couple years ago, and it was so great to see that arena the way it actually is and not that damn Thunderdome setup. It was so great to see that. So and next week it's coming to our neck of the woods, boys. The TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts. And whenever WWE comes to Boston, usually good things happen. So MF, I would be definitely optimistic and encouraged going into next week, because with the show being in Boston, that's one of WWE's favorite cities. So maybe we'll get another just as good, maybe even better show next week. Who knows? So we'll have to wait and see. So, but then again, you got Brock Lesnar coming. So Brock Lesnar is going to be in Boston. That alone is going to business is really going to pick up on that. So that's all. And that's
Rock
all
and Ronda. Because remember, Ronda is supposed to have her face-to-face with Liv Morgan.
Yep, Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey.
So Ronda Rousey's going to be in Beantown. So, yeah, I mean...
Face-to-face.
Yeah.
It's a face-to-face with Liv Morgan. So, it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. So like I said, MF, be encouraged, because we all know the long history of WWE in Boston, going back to the old Boston Garden.
Mm-hmm.
So... And they have had many memorable moments in Boston. So, and with that, next week's SmackDown, like I said, could be just as good as tonight, maybe even better. But then again, when you got the Beast and the baddest woman on the planet coming, good things could come out of that. So we'll see. So 6 for me on the Rampage.
On the Rampage, we started off with Malachi Black and Brody King going up against John Silver and Alex Reynolds, the winners of the bout in 8 minutes and 18 seconds with Malachi Black and Brody King. Solid match, good opener, about maybe 2.5 stars. And then after the match, it was that infamous jump off from the top of the structure, and this time it came compliments of one certifiable knucklehead known as Darby Allin. Sting comes through from the traditional entranceway and got right into the face of Malachi Black. They were just staring at each other like two dummies. Just look at two guys looking at each other's ugly mugs. Yeah, that's going to get ratings. But anyway, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. That's just me being my heel self there more than anything else. So, and let me just say, it was a solid match, and I don't mind the post-fight situation there. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Trying to pull a Bobby Heenan there, AMF?
You can say that, yes. Did it work?
I gotta admit that was pretty good. Of course, yeah, Bobby Heenan originated it. I mean, that was WrestleMania 8. Bret Hart and Roddy Piper. Yeah, two ugly people staring at each other. Yeah, that's fun. That's obviously what MF was playing off of with that little remark. But in all seriousness, energetic way to start the show. But it would have been nice if the Dark Order had gotten a win, since the group just gave a promo about how it's not going anywhere. And what was the time of the fall on that one? MF?
908.
908. I'll give it about 3 stars for the effort. So outcome not in doubt, but this upcoming Wednesday night on Dynamite Fighter Fest Week 2 in Duluth, Georgia, Darby Allin 1-on-1 with Brody King. So that's been booked for Dynamite Wednesday night. So we'll see how that goes, and it's got banger potential, no doubt. So solid 3 for me. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it about 3 stars. I mean, it was a solid match. Yeah, the outcome was never in doubt. With Malachi Black and Brody King beating John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and now Brody King's got to deal with Darby Allin on Dynamite Fighter Fest Night 2. So we'll wait and see what happens there. So let's move on, Fletch.
Next up on the fight card for the Ring of Honor World Championship, it was the champion, the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, going up against Lee Moriarty. Jonathan Gresham wins the match, 10 minutes and 8 seconds. The champion remains the champion, Anthony. But now it looks like Jonathan Gresham's got himself one hell of a challenger coming in the wings in the way of Claudio Castagnoli is coming after him for that belt.
And I've got some big news about that in just a moment, MF. That I know you're going to be very happy about. Before I get into that, first my thoughts on this. I'll give this about 3 to 3 1/4. These are two guys who are known for their technical precision, but Jonathan Gresham's new heel attitude led to him taking the low road a few times to keep his heel heat intact. Lee Moriarty used his height advantage to win most of the striking exchanges, but Gresham's power allowed him to control the grappling. Both men have a lot of similar attributes, but they use their skills in different ways to create a fun performance. Unfortunately, it never felt like the outcome was in question. There should be a little bit of unpredictability with title bouts, but we all knew Gresham was going to win, especially since this was not the main event. And Moriarty giving Gresham an angry handshake before taking him down was the best way to start the match. And that's really all there is, 3 to 3 1/4. And now the big news. Maybe you guys have heard, maybe you didn't, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Next Saturday night, July 23rd, Ring of Honor presents Death Before Dishonor on pay-per-view from the Songus Arena in Lowell, Massachusetts. Once again, near our neck of the woods. And it is official, MF. Jonathan Gresham will defend the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship against Claudio Castagnoli. And I'm just going to say it right here and right now, even though I don't really follow Ring of Honor as much as MF does, I'm calling for new champion. I think Claudio's finally going to get the moment he should have had a long damn time ago. He's never won a World Heavyweight Championship. I think that changes next week. But then again, if Gresham goes over, I wouldn't be surprised. It would have to be by nefarious means because of his new allegiance with Tully Blanchard Enterprises. But I think Claudio is due for a big moment here. And if he gets that moment, WWE is going to be like, why didn't we do this? We should have done this. But, neither here nor there. But 3 1/4. So, Michael Bullock, the outcome was never in doubt. We all knew Jonathan Gresham would successfully defend. But now his title reign is in very serious jeopardy because our boy, the former Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli is going to challenge Jonathan Gresham for the World Heavyweight Championship next Saturday night. Death Before Dishonor. I know I might be going out on a limb here. Bold prediction, you know me, but I'm calling for it. I think Claudio's going to get his big moment. What says you?
I'm actually with you, Florio. I actually am going to go with Claudio Castagnoli to become the new champion and finally get that moment that he should have had during his run in WWE as Cesaro, where he never won a world title of any kind. I think this is his time here. Would I be surprised if Jonathan Gresham wins it? I would not be surprised at all. So, as far as this goes, 3.25 stars. I mean, yeah, Gresham is really getting over with this new attitude of his, and yeah, I mean, you thought Lee Moriarty was a challenge? Oh, he certainly got a challenge with Claudio Castagnoli. So nothing else to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, all right. So next up we had was Chris Statlander and Athena going up against Charlotte and Robin Renegade. Statlander and Athena wins the match in 26 seconds. Yeah, there's really nothing more to add on that. We're just going to move right on along. Then we had the Lucha Bros, Penta Escuro and Rey Fenix versus the Private Party. And it was the Lucha Bros winning the match in 11 minutes and 17 seconds. So, Michael Bullock, you lead off on this one.
Yeah, I thought this was a solid match. I'll give this about maybe about 3.25, 3.5 for this one. Even though I'm leaning more towards maybe 3.25. But yeah, I mean, the outcome to me was never in doubt with this one. So a nice win here. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. I mean, it's yours, Fletch.
Predictable win. Yeah, the action was good. I mean, it was fine for what it was worth. It was a solid match, but there wasn't really anything amazing about it. So I'm just gonna say it that yeah, it's I'll probably say about 2.5 to 2.75. I'm gonna be a little harsh on this because there wasn't the outcome was never in doubt. Yes, it was solid action, but it is what it is. So Florio, what's yours?
Yeah, but I'm leaning more towards Bullock here. I'll say it like this. This was another 3.25, maybe 3.5, but more 3.25 possibly. I mean, while these duos are both known for their ability to fly through the air with the greatest of ease, they didn't just rely on their aerial offense. There was a nice variety of moves used on both sides, and they kept a steady pace throughout the bout, but they began to pick up steam in the final few minutes. And yes, the Luchas scored the win, but Private Party came close a few times. It was fun, but it fell a little short of expectations. I'll give you that, MF. These are two of the best high-flying duos in AEW, so people were probably expecting a match with more excitement, basically a spot fest, and we didn't quite get that here. But you noticed during the pre-match interview, Private Party telling Andrade they couldn't get a hold of him, and it had nothing to do with the match. I mean, could they be teasing some tension there? I don't know. But the fact that it has been almost 3 years since we saw a tag match with these two teams is wild. It speaks to how deep AEW's tag team division really is. Mm. And Penta was a step off during a couple of moves. He looked good for most of the match, but it looked like he might have been a little worn out by the end for some reason. And then the ref was literally hit from behind when Roosh interfered, and he didn't turn around for a single second until he was gone. And those are just some of the observations from that. But 3.25, 3.5. I will say by default it was the fight of the night, even though it wasn't quite the earth-shattering, high-flying spot fest that we expected. Because, like I said, these are two of the best high-flying teams, but it was still a fun match, even though it fell short of expectations, like MF said. So there isn't much to say on this. Let's get into our overall review here.
All right. This is about to become a very negative opinion, and I know and I know I'm going to get a lot of heat from my colleagues here, but none of that to say that this was a bad episode of Rampage. The matches were high expectations that didn't live up to the quality for the 1 hour and featured the worst of the company's bang, bang, bang approach to television mix with wrestling moments, and that should have been more memorable. But nothing here to say that this was anything great. Case in point, House of Black with Darby Allin and Sting. A few stories that came for those 2 minutes that would have been more impactful if it had more time to work with, more than anything else. I'm sorry. I was bored for that hour. I know that's a negative opinion. I know a lot of people's going to come after me for that. I don't give a damn. 5 out of 10 for me. I felt like this was a 50-50 show more than anything else. I know Florio's going to disagree. I know Michael Bullock is going to disagree. But I'm just stating what I felt about this show. I just felt like it was rushed. I didn't feel like any of the matches had any impact. I just felt like this was I just felt like they mailed it in. They had their big show. That was the impact. I mean, for Fyter Fest night 1, but then they kind of let the foot off the gas at the end of this one. So it is what it is. 5 out of 10. Florio, go.
I'll meet you halfway. 6 out of 10. I mean, some of the matches were good, but they weren't overly great. They should have been. Most of them were disappointing. And, you had the cool down match. I mean, I was right there with you, MF. I was just as bored as you were. I mean, there were times I was rolling my eyes and, counting down until it was over. I couldn't wait for the show to be over tonight. And I'm glad it did. So it felt like one of those vintage Rampage episodes, where it was rushed. I mean, too much, too fast. That was the theme of this show here tonight. But I'm not going to, really punish it like MF did. But I'm almost in the same boat as him. So it was more like a 6.5. That's the best I can do. So not much more to say. Bullet, take it home.
I'm sorry, but I'm with Fletch on this one. This was a 5 out of 10. This was a boring ass. I mean, I never really was into it at all. The matches were disappointing. I mean, didn't live up to the expectations, and I'm gonna say something here, and I don't give a damn. I mean, to all you AEW marks who say, "Oh, you need to give them a pass on this one," no. I mean, you can't be perfect all the time, and this was a perfect example of it. I mean, so yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to add here. So let's just call it a night, boys.
All right, and we will indeed. Like I said, I will not be doing a Big 3 recap. I will not do it tonight. I just want to be more wrestling centric more than anything else. So Monday night, Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. He'll have Raw. Well, it's not 205 Live. It's NXT Level Up and Impact Wrestling. He'll have that. And then Wednesday, Madness again, AEW Rampage, NXT 2.0. Thursday, right now we don't know what we're going to have for our docket, but we'll work it. We'll work it.
I got it. I got the docket for you.
Oh, okay.
It's a very simple docket. We're going to recap the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. MF will have another supersized Big 3 basketball report. He's going to have 2 weeks worth of action to recap and then set up for the following week. And then in the main event, we're going to recap the ESPY Awards because that goes down Wednesday night. So there's your docket right there.
Excellent. All right, excellent. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. Another edition of Cerebral Smack Talk, Smackdown Live. We'll also have Rampage, and I do believe this will be the weekend of
Death Before Dishonor.
Death Before Dishonor. So I will be previewing that show as well. So we got that. And as a matter of fact, tonight, for all you New Japan folks out there, tonight's the jump off of the G1 Climax tournament. So for all you guys who's gonna stay up, burning the midnight oil, get a lot of coffee in your system. It's gonna be a long night because that sucker starts at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I know Anthony Floyd or Michael Bullock will not do that. I can't do that. I got work commitments to be out of my control, so I can't do that. So for you guys out there, have a great evening. For Michael Bullock, for Anthony Floyd, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night. We'll see you guys on Monday.